slam sometimes end up like battle rap, and like get pretty hostile in there. So they ask me for bars over beef like it ain't the same if I put it. Like every stanza ain't a stick, like every breath ain't a bullet, but I'm sophisticated and sadistic, even my holistics ballistics. I got drunken monkey punchlines, they belligerent, they spitting wine, sake, and soju. See, I'm well trained for this game, son, it's giving Goku. I'm just a Saiyan God, probably proud of his prodigy. So we cross paths, I tell him bow to the Kakarot in me. No beats, got them still knocking for me. So they call me a rapper, They say I'm capping, I can't. I tell them check the stakes. In my own lane, pulling the reins for the very thing they came to claim. Well, I've been stamped Monday. So I tell them similar don't mean same, so I wouldn't even call you a great. I might say you more like a homonym to dominate. I'm a heat-seek syndromes of imposters and demolish shit. Might treat it like some Oscar shit. If I rock it, I will bitch slap a king in his crown chakra. Speak on my name and defame me. You birthing Rosemary's baby. Maybe I'm your favorite abomination. If your opinions are elevated, then I'm sending slugs to you, sludge. I only respect it when it's less than hectic, and words of D, that's nothing but love. I mean, that heavy, and honestly, I don't even fuck with the beef. I'm pescatarian. So tearing flesh might turn into a fast for me. I wrote these killer rhymes during Ramadan when I asked Allah to excuse my haram, making salat for this spot. So y'all want balls of a beef? Fuck it, then I'll treat it like big word by this weed. I'm killing up the feeling if you think it's smoke free. Cause I'm cynical about my principles. If it ain't about pinnacles, please don't approach me. Cause my bars and flows be like light work to Paul Bunyan. I'm something like a lumberjack to a crack house. I'll show you what jump back mean if I black out. I spit this shit and make us fraternal twins. If I say we got a crack mouth, you get it, right? My product up by the key. He's scrambling for teeth. Please don't raise your pen and send against me. I don't do this shit for trophies. I just established that they know me. See, I'm hand to hand to this land. Y'all like Matilda, right? I'm like Miss Trenchbull to the choker. And I hate competing with this heat. I got shinobi moves, so I seek and seal with a death freak, but I don't play with this flawless too often. Cause in exchange of me a soul coffin. So go on cough and then tell them bring me the profit. Cause win, lose, or draw, I'm placing pieces of their pride in the coffin. Peace.
Friends, welcome back to the Smokey Mirror Podcast, where we dive deep into the creative minds that are shaping our culture and inspiring us all. My name is Jordan Jones. I'm your host and fellow creator, and I'm on a mission to spread knowledge and inspiration to help people like you leave your mark on the world. From artists to musicians to entrepreneurs and more, join me as we explore the intentional act of creation and the forces that drive us to do God's work. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're checking me out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. And as always, share with a friend, family member if you think this is valuable in any way. So today I have my friend Salam the Poet back on the podcast. I had him the first time and technical difficulties, we messed up the recording. So he was gracious enough to bless me with his presence again.
Always.
And so now we're going to get right into it. So Salam, thank you.
Not a problem, man. How y'all doing? This Mr. Harley home, but always repping himself. Salam the Poet. Thank you, my brother, for inviting me back to do this, know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's always, everything happens on divine timing, so let's get it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think we here for a reason. So I really want to get into exactly, for people who don't know, you are a poet. And I want to just start off with, like, how'd you get into poetry? That's not something that I see a lot. I mean, you know, it's a thing, but I don't see too many people doing it. A lot of people want to do rap. A lot of people want to make music and sing. What got you into poetry?
All right, so I tell people I'm like a mixture between like the streets and a scholar. So like I've always loved like English class and like words. That was like always my favorite subject. But I hate homework. So like when I learned about poetry, I was like, okay, you could convey a whole message in a short amount of time than writing out a whole essay and rambling. So whenever assignments would come up and they'd be like, oh yeah, do an essay, I asked my teacher, like, yo, can I do a poem? And they'd be like, here's the rubric. If you could meet the rubric, you could do it. And I feel like a lot of them challenged me because like they like, I'm probably not going to meet the rubric.
Yeah.
But I started doing it and it worked every time. And then like by like 6th, 7th grade, one of my teachers pulled me aside like, yo, you know you're good at this? And then fast forward to 2012, my junior year of high school, I started performing and everything. So it's been history ever since.
Wow. So you was just saying like, yo, I'm not going to write this paper. I'm going to do it poems instead. How'd you know you was good at poems?
I didn't. I didn't. I just like, okay, here's the information I have. Here's what I have to get. Here's the information I was given. Here's what I have to give back. Let's see if it works. It was like trial and error.
Yeah.
But like I was blessed enough to be able to streamline straight through with it.
That's dope.
So,
okay, and so you say you started getting into performing. Like, how did that go?
Shout out Allende Cartman, shout out After School Matters, Gallery 37, all of that. So junior high school, we going into English class, and my teacher like, yo, we got a presenter today. You know, brought somebody in. There's an after school program they're gonna start. He gonna talk to y'all about it. So one of my mentors, Allende Cartman, he came and he was over Stage and Revolution, which was a theater and poetry program where After School Matters. He spit a piece and everything, and like me, I didn't really get captured by poetry until like Edgar Allan Poe. Until I learned about him, because he kind of like flipped poetry on his head for me. So like any other poet I heard had to like be outside of that Shakespearean box.
You're right.
And like so when Allende started spitting, I'm like, this man cold. He's nice. So I tapped in with him, became part of Stage and the Revolution. And the last project of the workshop, not even the program, they were like, you got two choices. You either find your favorite poem and memorize it and perform it like it's yours, or you write something. Either way, we going to this open mic and y'all got to perform. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. So yeah, I performed and been tapping in with people since then.
And that was that the poem you did about your grandma?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
No, that one was called Just a Thought.
Okay. What was that first one? The first one you did? What was that one called?
Just a Thought.
Oh, Just a Thought.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the one with the did you spit that one the last time you was here?
I did. That's the one I was talking about, like A to Z, 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah. Can you spit that one right now?
I got you.
That one is lit.
Have you ever sat in the dark and wondered what lies behind the eyes of a pondering man? Let me tell you that I have, and one cannot fathom the intensity of the mind in one glance. To be honest with you, I am that man. I'm a man who sat in the dark thinking and dreaming dreams that no mere mortal should dare dream. Just imagine the chaos of the world. Blood, suicide, murder, screams of helpless boys and girls. It's true the mind could be a very demented place, but on the other hand, it's a realm where some tend to feel most safe. With pictures of love, hugs, or even that special someone's kiss, just imagine that feeling of living in such bliss. But you see, the mind is like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Here's the twist. See, in reality, I'm a creator like Tyler, but this is a dream world, so I'm Freddy, manipulating the malleable minds of a very misled mankind. Then I come back. If only this could be. Because see, the world to me is far more complex than 1, 2, and 3. We live in a world where 26 is equivalent to A through Z, and A through Z is equivalent to infinity. Also, the government is a total opposite of the convent, because politics, now they're more like parlor tricks. And the ones who participate in them, they just sick pricks with the words of deception dripping from their lips. We're forced to be part of their chain gang and suffer campaigns under the subliminal tyrannical reign, to the point where I go insane only to focus on the minor things, but not the main point of my venting, which is about how thinking can have you appreciating and resenting life and the ways of the world, which could be enough to make your head twirl, your stomach curl, coming to realize that you actually can put a price on knowledge. For example, having to pay for college. But don't worry, because I too feel that burning sensation, but I feel it in the pockets of the citizens of this capitalist nation, coming to realize that not even religion can provide you with salvation. At least not in this life. I'm pretty sure my rambling got you scrambling. Mentally or physically, as I do it lyrically, I see their eyes skimming the lines and I sense that they feeling me. I'm not trying to sound like a preacher, but more like a down-to-earth teacher. So now that light is coming to the room and my liquid flowing thoughts, they quickly turn into fumes. So then I awake to a world similar, if not identical, to that of my dreams, where everything is truly not what it seems. Every stronghold is weak at the seams. This world is so off balance, man. Bring in the beam. Take a walk in my shoes. They'll see what I mean. How people are killing each other over MMG. That's marijuana, money, and God, but no disrespect to Ross, Ace, Wale, or Meek. We interesting creatures with many different features. Some are boosters and some are looters. Then you have your suitors and resentful shooters. Hated the next man over a few pieces of green paper, believing that we all different when we come from the same binomial nomenclature. I'm giving you a distilled taste with no chaser. Can you see what the mind can process through the 2 holes in your skull? These are thoughts that will never be known. These thoughts wake you up in sweats that's hot instead of cool, and they drown you in mental wave pools. But to ignore them is to no avail. These just give you more stories to tell. Stories like triumphs and battles fought, but never mind all that. This is just a thought.
That boy Chaz was looking awestruck. Yeah. So that was the first poem you ever performed?
Yes, and that was mine, yeah.
And what, well, how old were you?
I was 16, 17.
Wow. I love what that kind of goes back to what you said about like being a scholar in the streets, because a lot of that vocabulary and subject matter was very high level. Were you always into like studying and doing that shit, like because of the poetry, or how that like how do you?
I was one of those children that was very inquisitive. Like I will like people used to get mad at me for asking so much questions. Like I was very talkative, all of that. I used to want to be an astronaut, so like my mind at like 4 or 5 years old was like already like
Wondering about shit.
Yeah. So now I would look into stuff, or like I'd just be blessed enough to be in environments where like I can soak up a lot of knowledge and stuff.
So we in Miami right now, but you grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Talk about how that affected your education and upbringing.
It was very interesting, you know, because I always say I have the best of both worlds. You feel me? I grew up between the burbs and the city. Being in the burbs, I was able to be like privy to different sides of the education system. Like we have more investment in the schools, more access to a few more after school programs. When I got to high school, went back to the city, and my school was a Air Force Academy high school. It was a Chicago public school still, but certain environment you see certain things that like where the underfunding comes in at, you know, where certain things you wouldn't get if you was in a school system where it's more suburban.
Right.
You know, the commutes to school, everything. Like you gotta be a little more on your toes, on your P's and Q's, because anything can happen on the way to and from school. First year of my school was in the middle of the projects. Like I don't know if you ever seen the movie Hardball with Keanu Reeves. It was in those projects right there. Like it was in the middle of those.
That's crazy.
And there was a lot of that. But then the rest of the years it was still like in the city, but right off the highway. It was still like in the hood area. But overall, like it taught me duality more than anything. You know, it taught me how to code switch when I need to. You know what I'm saying? Growing up mostly in the city, it taught me situational awareness more than anything. So like me already being inquisitive, I'm gonna figure out like, okay, what's this, what's that, and I take what I learn, you know, and watching so many people like around me leave, not being able to spend like New Year's, 4th of July, all that like outside the way I want to because people shooting and everything.
Right.
You know, that put me in the mind early like, all right, it got to be more than this.
Right.
I want to be able to enjoy stuff, you feel me? And it was just a lot of duality. Tons of duality.
That's really cool. I mean, I think it's important for kids to ask questions about their life, especially when shit is going on. Like, why can't I go outside on 4th of July? Like, why are all these things happening? Like, what led up to us being in this situation, you know?
It's just a lot of nonsense, you know. People fireworks, people get excited, people either shooting in the air, that bullet got to come down at some point. That's what my pops always taught me. You know, he like, I don't care how many guns you see around, blah, 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 blah. He said, you need to understand what it can do. So he told me, don't ever shoot in the air. Bullets got to come down at some point. And then, like, yeah, with the nonsense, you got to sit below the windows, everything. I got in trouble because I was looking out the window one year. It was New Year's, and it was just going up outside. I was just excited. Got towed up.
Yeah, get your ass down.
For that one little moment, it was worth it, though.
Okay, so you gave that first performance, and what was it like afterwards? Were you just hooked on it from then on? You was like, oh yeah, like I'm like that.
It really instilled me in a sense like, oh, you can really do this. Like I was still like kind of like just like peeping around like, okay, I don't really know what's gonna come from this.
Right.
But what instilled it in me is shout out to K Love. If anybody know K Love the Poet, super dope. Her and Phenom used to host this thing called the Lyric Lagoon every Tuesday night at the Clio Center. And they mentored a group of poets called Lyric Squad. And when I first seen Lyric Squad perform, because they performed pretty much before we kind of did, they opened and closed the show. And I'm sitting there looking at these cats like, yo, these dudes, they different level. Like I don't know if I can hang, blah, blah, blah. But then after I got done spitting, like, they kind of like all came to me like, hey, yo, you wanna get down with Lyric Squad? I'm like, but I didn't have the time. Like, at that time, I was living in the burbs, so I didn't have time to like go to practice and everything. All the days they wanted me to, everything. Then I was already like interning like by my senior high school, so like I didn't have time to dedicate to it. So I never really got down with it. But those people stayed in my corner and stayed in my ear, and so some of them became mentors, and they was like, yo, stick with this, bro. Yeah. So that's what really pushed me to I can do this.
That's dope. Okay, so let's fast forward. You came to Miami. First of all, why'd you move to Miami?
Miami, it was mainly because I realized, one, I was making a footprint in my city. You know, when you start going out, people like, ain't you, and you like, oh shit, okay. All right. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I've done enough here. I want to expand. Then, like, more than anything, I've always said to myself, I'm gonna leave Chicago, not because of everything that's going on, but I feel like you leave your parents' house. That's one nest you gotta leave. But then the second nest anybody should leave is the city they grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already thinking about moving and everything. So then the timing was perfect. I came down here. It's a perfect place to network. Why not?
Hell yeah. All right. So then you got here and you're not really into doing poetry slams.
Nah.
And why not?
Because slamming, so I've learned a lot since I have slammed a few times.
Mm-hmm.
However, the culture of slamming, it's not about the poem. It's not about how good the poem is and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna say like, oh, I'm the best writer out here. No, none of that. But you're literally at the mercy of the judges. So you can have somebody come up there and spit something that's like complete fire, and the judges might not feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got somebody that's like, roses are red, violets are blue, buckle my shoe, and like the judges love it and they win the whole slam. And it's like, what's the point of judging anything if you're not understanding how the art itself is put together?
Mm-hmm.
Then I've seen slams. It's so much politics that go into them. I don't spit for trophies. I don't spit for politics. I spit because I simply love creation. So slams kind of take that away to an extent, but I've learned since then.
Mm-hmm. Because you participated in the slam, and this was the first one you ever really competed in, right? The one you won?
No, okay, so this slam was third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
First slam I competed in was in Chicago for a lady named BB, and she was like, she seen me perform. She's like, y'all need you at my slam. I'm like, y'all on slam. She said, I wasn't asking you. I'm like, shit, all right, cool, whatever. New territory. So I made it to the second round, but I did the piece about my grandmother, which was still kind of like a sensitive piece for me. So I choked and forgot the words, and I got knocked out that round. Then I just did Jazz in the Garden slam, and I was one of the finalists out of the 3 people. Got knocked out that one. So then Ingrid B came with her slam, and I wasn't gonna slam again. I wasn't gonna slam. You know, it had been posted for a minute. She DM Goat Pen like, yo, it's 6 of y'all. There's money in the pot, and nobody reached out for it. And I was just like, let me just go ahead and see what this do. And yeah, it turned out better than I thought.
That's dope. And run me through, talk again about the actual slam, because there was a little bit of drama, like, well, maybe not drama, but it was close and interesting. Because I know you at first, just walk me through the slam.
All right, so like I said, like I don't slam, so I be having to like to learn, because like away from everything that I said I don't like about slamming is its own arena in its own right. So first round, you know, I'm thinking like slams easily, all right, boom, you spit something cold, they rock with it, you know, because this is the first slam where anybody ever talked to me about strategy. Any other slam, they was like, go and see what happens. And I'm like, okay. But like, this is like, so first round, I spit a piece, and it was 10 poets. I was number 7 in the whole shebang. First round, she was like, all right, I'm eliminating 5 poets after the first round. So boom, everybody spit first round. I came in 5th place in the first round. And so Ingrid looked at me like, you don't understand strategy. She like, pay attention. But you know, couldn't nobody really say much because some of the people I was competing with were like mentors and stuff, like Poetic, Butterfly. So I'm like, shit, okay, so and they all just like pay attention. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, what does it mean?
Like, all right, cool, whatever. So but realizing where I placed, I'm like, all right, bro, you got to get in your bag, like really get in your bag. So the second round comes, she like, all right. After second round, 2 more poets getting eliminated. Boom. Second round come, I spit. I believe I placed like second. I think I tied for second place in the second round. So boom, it was the final 3. It was me, Poetic, and Butterfly. So I like the judges, they had a soft spot for, I guess, poems about loss. Because Butterfly did her piece about loss, and like the judges ate it up. They boom, boom, boom. And like, so like after that first round, I paid attention to like what they really wanted. Like they want those heartfelt poems. So I'm like, all right, boom, whatever. So I go in with that one. I do my poem. I pretty much I think did I tie with Butterfly? I forgot how the scores went at this point. It's been a minute. My brain cells don't be always there. But long story short, Poetis and Butterfly both ended up going over time. But regardless of what the scores was, I ended up having a higher score regardless.
Yeah.
So like Butterfly went over time. I'm like, okay. Like, damn, she's out. She was like that's gonna like she even if she get the highest score, they're gonna deduct that. So I'm like, so okay, boom. It's me and Poetis. Poetis goes over time. And I'm like, they're like, bro, you won. I'm like, okay, like it didn't register to me until I was outside after the slam. Like, hey, yo, you actually won this. So
damn. So you were the third one to go. Or you was first?
I think I was like the first one, but like I said it kind of out of order, but like in the third round I was like the first one, I do believe. And
then they went overtime on all theirs.
Second one, actually. I was the second one to go.
Okay, got it. And this is the one where you spit about your grandma.
Yeah.
So that I guess that paying attention actually did pay off because you was like, oh, I see that they like the heartfelt ones. So let me come in and bring this one as the last one.
That was really it. That was really the mentality behind it.
That's dope. Can you spit the grandma one? I love this one.
I got you. I'm not a singer. I just like to sing in my poems, so y'all got to deal with this shit.
You ain't got to give that caveat. What the fuck?
They'll be all right. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. This has got to be some of the hardest shit that I've never wrote, see. I remember summers on the 9. The caller fellas coming from the kitchen, man, out of bed by 9 and breakfast by 10. We built pillow forts. Those pillow forts meant platters of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with Coke cups filled to the rim with milk and ice cubes. I'd kill to have my granny back. I miss those fun days where we would mess with you until you got fed up and chased us around the house with your yellow little tights, beat a nigga bat. Or the time you and TT had me and the boys barricaded in the bathroom, avoiding being popped by your bandanas. And there were simpler times you'd walk us to the store, watch us load up on sweets, but couldn't wait to get back home in your pack of Cheetos, pack of Cools, and a cup of tea. Holidays meant happiness. Family, food, and fun. We would pig out till we pass out. Then from there, y'all know how it go, right? 5 to a room. Hopefully you get a spot on the bed. Otherwise, pick a spot on the floor. Go to sleep, wake up, and prepare to make more memories. I miss those nice summer days where the hoop sessions were followed by hot dogs and hamburgers fresh off the grill. Granny, you were the greatest. You granted a diplomatic immunity that no parent enforced punishment could that protest could see. Moms and pops was good, but Granny, you was cold when they words was silver shit. Yours was gold. But life throws curveballs not even their best batter could swing at. I seen that smile start to fade. I seen shifts in your normal ways. There were holidays with less happiness, hoop sessions, no more hot dogs and hamburgers, pillow forts, no more peanut butter and jellies. I thought this was just a phase. The more it happened, the more I looked for answers. To pops pulls me and bro to the side like, boys, your grandmother has breast cancer. Not familiar with terminal illness, I hadn't grasped how real this beast could get. It diminishes features at a rate too fast to fathom. I watch you go from Pocahontas to put on hat to warm your exposed scalp. Your brown skin turned to a blotchy surface, and eventually your face was not one I had come to know. Your movements got slow, and eventually your voice, it was nowhere to be found. Laughter and conversation was replaced by sounds of agony whenever you had to move, Granny. This was not you. You were a crown jewel, a queen in your own space. I prayed that you would snap out of it, but you never did. The lady I knew as Granny could no longer hug me, hold me. I yearned to wake up to your distant shout or at least hit a catchphrase and you get fed up and tell everyone else to get the fuck out. But to be honest, I can't even remember the last words you spoke to me. Every time I speak on you, I choke on the thought of what could be if you were still here. Every moment you laid in the hospital bed, I wondered if I had faced my biggest fear. July 10th, 2007, 4:06 a.m., my biggest fear came true. The angel of death came to you and all I could do was stare at your lifeless body, remembering the smile as you looked up at the get well balloon that I bought you out of wishful thinking that maybe you would never leave. Maybe you had one more trick up your sleeve. They're telling me that you're not suffering no more, so maybe I'm supposed to be relieved. but I felt your presence as you've been gone. So I'll take pride in that, knowing it won't be long. But till then, I'm kicked back, reminiscing with Wiz like, it's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. That's that piece.
I love that piece, bro. Especially, it hits me hard because now I recently lost my grandma to dementia, and it was definitely
Condolences.
something hard to experience when you see that slow decline, when that person that you know starts to fade away slowly. It is kind of it's sad, you know. And then especially when you're like, are they even still there? Like, do they know if I'm still here? It definitely had me feeling some kind of way. So I love that, hearing that piece, because I love how like the reverence you have for Granny, like all the good times, and then it's like, you know, I felt your presence. Like, you see them go, and then we got the whiz at the end.
Yeah, because
That's
like,
nice.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like the amount of people that I've lost. Speaking of, can I do a shout out?
Yeah.
Shout out Danny Agnew, man.
Shout out
You
to
feel
Danny
me?
Agnew.
Shout out Danny Agnew, our brother we recently lost, man. Great individual. But it's like with great individuals, you know what I'm saying? People like him, people like our grannies, you know, like the amount of people I lost make me believe like that when they leave, that can't be the end all be all.
Right.
Cause like you just too great. Like at some point, I feel like I don't know what I believe in after we leave here, but I feel like we're gonna run into each other at some point in another life, whatever. So like, you know, like that's why I kind of ended it on a like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On
like
a lighthearted note.
Yeah, a high note, because I honestly agree with that. I don't think death is the end. You know, it seems really final, but it just, I don't know. I think we move on and to bigger and better things. And I feel like their spirit is always with us too.
Exactly. Like certain people, like friends, family, what they instill certain things, and you can never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or like when you see something, it's them.
Right, it's them.
It's
You
like-
hear a song. Yeah.
It's like the time and everything. Like this can't be nothing less.
right.
So,
That's crazy. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. It's great to remember people that we lost. Yeah, definitely shout out to Danny Agnew, gone way too soon.
yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about like performing it, like the cadence and the delivery. Like, how did you learn to do it? You know, like adopt a style for yourself.
More than anything, I'm very hip hop inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, I grew up listening to hip hop music. My parents, Boogie Down Productions, Rakim, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, like LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, like everybody. My parents like was playing hip hop all around us. Then, you know what I'm saying? Me being a '90s baby, Tupac, Biggie, hip hop, everything for me. Like I'm more hip hop than R&B. So with that, like with me being a writer, I guess it automatically flowed because half the time I don't write to have a cadence. It's just like the way I want it to come off, like or the way I deliver it automatically puts a cadence there. But then I guess they say like the people that you listen to the most, they kind of flow into who you are. So like Kendrick and Cole type stuff. So I will say Kendrick is a big influence because the man's cadence is sick.
Yeah.
Like the way his delivery is nasty. It's really that. Then also, just it's really along the journey you learn certain things because I talk fast naturally. So like what sounds like a regular pace to most people sounds slow motion in my head. So I have to learn sometimes to like, dial it back, slow it down, especially since I done moved to the South. Like, like being in Miami, I be forgetting I'm in the South sometimes. So like when they be like, yo, you talking too fast, like you spitting too fast. And then, you know, with mentors, they tell you like, okay, you doing this type of piece. Like it wasn't until, and this is something that actually helped with my cadences and stuff too, until like 2020 or 2021, somebody was like, yo, get all 5 senses in tune. And like when you do, like you can really feel the piece. So you like certain pieces don't have to just be delivered. Like you saying something dope, and like you hip hop inspired, but you gotta like tweak something here, tweak something there.
To really emphasize certain bars.
Like you just like find a muse in your head somewhere for whatever you spitting, and they tell you how to attack it.
I like that. I love how you say that the rap inspiration, because it almost feels like battle rap when you spitting shit. And I know we talked about this a little bit last time, but you thought about ever putting it on a beat or doing something like that?
Man, everybody's been asking me like, yo, Salam, hop on this feature, get in this booth, get it like, and I've strayed away from the booth like specifically because everybody wants to be a rapper.
Yeah.
And I never want to be boxed into that rap. I don't care if I'm flowing over a beat, whatever. I'm a poet at the end of the day, spoken word artist. So like, and I needed to be respected as that. But like my cousins, they rap and everything, and they've been the main ones like trying to get me in the booth with them. And at this point, I'm like, let's get to it. That's a realm I haven't touched. It can flex my artist muscle. And then one of them told me, like, bro, somebody gonna listen to it.
Definitely.
Like you put it, somebody gonna listen to it. You feel me? They could call it what they want, but you know what it is.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I ain't never thought about it that way. Like when I tell you my artist journey has been so organic, like like some of the knowledge, I'm acquiring so much knowledge. I'm like, damn, I wish somebody would actually taught me that. And so like, it's just the booth work is really on the table right now.
That's dope. Yeah, I'm excited to see that because I hear the poems, I see the way you deliver them, and I'm always captured, and I can just hear some raw 808s
It's
or
visuals on the way more than anything.
Ooh, yeah. I really like that too. Talk to me a little more about that. What we got coming?
So I put out shout out Nia, barber, painter, videographer, photographer extraordinaire.
Thanks.
Like dopest sister in the world. But like so me and Nia, we did like a quick photo shoot because I need some headshots one day, and she like, yo, I got some footage left on my camera. A couple minutes, you want to try something real quick? So we shot a visual. It was a very simple visual, and it got like so much traction. Everybody's like, yo, this is dope. This is dope. So I'm like, okay, I need to start putting out visuals.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest, and I guess I could give a little tidbit. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest visuals I want to do right now is for a piece called Scrap Paper Mansions. It's a piece pretty much about like, forget all that like materialistic stuff, like all that stuff. Like it really means nothing at the end of the day if you are nobody.
Right.
And I just if y'all can look up pictures of the abandoned Playboy Mansion, that is the ideal location for Scrap Paper Mansions.
Wow. What does that look like? The abandoned Playboy Mansion.
It's crazy. Like they've graffiti like windows busted out. Like
it's been vandalized.
It's a bando. Like it's really a bando. Like
that's crazy.
But like there's the pool they had in there,
the grotto and shit
with the huge Playboy logo at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like they got that. They done spray painted like little. Oh, I'm sorry. They spray painted like the little anarchy symbol up.
They're wilding. Yo.
Then you just got like rooms. You could tell like these were nice ass rooms, but it's like broken mirrors everywhere, and it's so much symbolism in there. And then like just the energy of like the good, the bad, and the ugly that surrounds that place is like just the perfect location.
Damn, this is crazy because my parents, they recently moved. My dad and my stepmom, they recently moved to a different neighborhood in Atlanta, and P. Diddy has a abandoned house there. It's huge, but like kind of the same thing. Like people was like breaking in, just like looking at it and shit because it was kind of decrepit, like falling apart.
No, like it like
they got places like that.
Like those places are fire though.
Super fire.
Like even as bandos, it's like, hey yo, I would kick you here and just do something.
Fact, especially when people be getting in there and doing their graffiti and leaving art and shit. They just come in, fuck it up.
Yeah, it's like, dope. Because all graffiti not ugly, so it's like, okay.
Somebody came in here and got busy, like
you know, like I might be okay with catching a trespassing charge for that one.
Right, that's funny as hell. Okay. All right, so now I kind of want to transition into some of the more projects you've been working on with Goat Pen, as well as you mentioned the upcoming book. Let's start with Goat Pen, though. So I went to an event recently that you all had. What was it, on Thursday? Wednesday? Thursday? Tuesday. It was dope. So you just met a shorty who had the restaurant, right?
So shout out my homie Bernice, aka
Bernice.
Fatal Essence. I met her when Ingrid B was doing the B-side at Crave Lounge in Fort Lauderdale. But since Ingrid moved everything to Miami, me and her kind of like fell out of touch. Ran across her again on social media. We tapped back in. And she like, yo, where the poetry event's at? So I started tapping in with her, telling her where everything's at. And she came to a few Goat Pen shows and she like, hey, yo, my mom has a restaurant, you know what I'm saying? I love for y'all to do shows there, bring some business, support black type thing. And I'm like, no doubt, let's see what it is. So then she put us in tune with her sister, shout out Steph. And me and Benjamin the Brain sat down and met with her, and it was a go. And we set the date, and Tuesday was the first show at Alamar Caribbean Restaurant, Pembroke Road. Y'all go check that out. Fire Haitian food, fire food, dope people.
For sure, and I was there. I can vouch. That shit was a vibe. I loved it. So I'm anticipating we doing that once a month now, or what was the cadence?
So we're that's the plan, to do it once a month. That was show one. So now we got to reconvene and see how we're gonna move forward. Pick a specific day. So just stay tuned for those dates. On the other side of that, we do have Rebel Wine Bar every fourth Thursday of every month. Oakland Park, Florida, Goat Pen Society. Shout out the whole Goat Pen, you know. So
big shout out. And where is that at? That location you just mentioned?
Rebel Wine Bar. It's in Oakland Park. I don't have the specific address, but it's in Oakland Park. So like Fort Lauderdale area.
Okay. You stay up in Broward?
No, I'm in Miami.
Oh, okay. Cause I see a lot of Broward shit going on, so I was just wondering.
Broward be the one coming in clutch with everything.
True,
man. Like,
yeah. I moved to Broward. I kind of like it up there. It's nice. People
Yeah.
know how to act up in Broward.
Yeah,
they be wilding out.
Yeah. I don't be trying to say too much.
Yeah, that's right. I ain't trying to. I love Miami-Dade.
Yeah.
I love Miami-Dade. I'm just messing with y'all. But no, that's good. That's good. That's good. So talk to me about a book. We got a book coming or what? What's going on?
Yeah. So the book is in the works. The Dark, the Light, and the Sight. It was originally supposed to be a collab between me and two other authors, but just life being life. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too drastic. I'm gonna just go ahead and take the book and like just push that one with me first, and then we'll collab at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now it's about like 20 poems in there. I might add a couple more. I'm in the midst of that, but I'd say it's about 80% done.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to get it like fully formatted and actually like get something concrete to look at, see if that's what I want to push. But as far as the content and everything, it's pretty much 80% done.
Dope.
Drop date, since my other drop date got pushed back, I'm trying to figure out when I want to drop now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the publishers I was going to go with didn't get back at me and everything, and we have been conversing, so I guess they ain't got tied up with a lot of stuff. So it's going to drop by the end of this year. That's a promise. That's a promise. The Dark, the Light, and the Sight is coming. So that is nothing. That book is just simply a whole bunch of random pieces that I've compiled like, over the years, just getting people introduced to like different sides of me. So it's like it has no specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the Dark, the Light, and the Sight because it's like it talks from places where I've been like at my lows. It talks from places where I've been enlightened, and it talks about like just how I view the world and certain shit that goes on and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really mainly the gist of it. The layout I want for it is so dope. I want my letters in gold, pages black. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's definitely gonna be a collector's item for me. That's
if you don't read it, it looks beautiful. That's what I want everybody to grab.
That's dope.
But you should read it though.
No, yeah, definitely. Just going off the 2 poems you shared today, you definitely gotta tap into those. One thing I'm curious about is like your creative process when it comes to writing. Like, what gets you inspired? Like you mentioned this one scrapbook or scrap piece. Mansions like about materialism. Yeah. What gets you like inspired to write things, or what catches your eye? Just give me some examples.
It's mainly just really anything that like ignites a flame in me more than anything. Because a lot of my stuff just be downloads. Like I get a download and it'd be like a couple bars and it's like go. Scrap Paper Mansion specifically. Shout out Queen Bee, the bar goddess. But that's my mentor. And she had me featuring on Clubhouse, on the app Clubhouse, in one of her rooms. And whenever she does a feature, she gives the feature a specific prompt she wants them to write about. So Scrap Paper Mansions was my piece. I'm like, okay, Scrap Paper Mansions, what does that mean to me? And I literally like will picture a scrap paper mansion. Like it looked fancy and shit, but if it's a scrap, you ball it up. Like, what does it mean now?
Yeah.
Like so, and thinking of stuff like that is really what streamlines everything for me. But more than anything, because that's what I tell anybody that's like asking about like how to write certain ways. If you were asked to take the strap on that bag and connect it to the state of the Galactic Federation or something like that, like most people look at you like, excuse me, what? But you as the artist, that's your job to fill in those blanks. Like they don't have to be related on anything, or like the end and the beginning or whatever content you have don't have to be related. But as long as you could draw that, like string them all together and tie them together to make it make sense, you've accomplished the mission.
I think it's almost easier to be creative when you have some like constraints, because it gives you like somewhere to aim for. It's like when you have total flexibility, it'd be kind of hard for me. But yeah, something like compare this backpack to the state of the Galactic Federation, it gives you like some anchoring points, at least for me.
Yes and no. Because like once again, like that's why I always wrote poems to the academic papers, because those constraints. I'm like, nah, bro. Like the constraints like kind of stifle my creation. I'm learning to not let that stuff happen. That's why I'm like, the writing prompts I do actually 7 words, 7 minutes. You know, that's another Queen Bee prompt. You give 7 random words, set the timer to 7 minutes, and whatever you come out with, you come out with. So the restraints can help, but they can also be a crutch, because if you got somebody that's going to overthink, they're going to fall into their writer's block stage because they got so many ways they want to take it, they'll take neither one. But when you got that reign of creative freedom, you just give me something. So it really depends on the artist that you're dealing with.
Definitely, yeah. It is, and that also goes back to like constraints in school versus, you know, just somebody's giving you 2 words. It is totally different. I feel like school does try to box you into a certain way of thinking, almost like they're just programming you to do something a certain way. So I think that's interesting. We about to wrap up. Salam, is there anything you want to drop on the folks? Shout outs?
Shout out anybody that's been part of my village in Miami. Today is the poetry potluck.
Yeah,
you feel me?
I'll be there.
Shout out Calvin May, his son Early, facilitating the poetry potluck. Dope ass space. If you've never had been, stay tuned for the next one. Go Pen Society open mic, Oakland Park, Florida, June 29th. You know, 8 p.m. Get there. It's gonna be super dope. I was gonna shout out you for having me on your podcast.
Thank you.
Running it back. You feel me? Technical difficulties don't stop greatness.
Nah.
I was gonna shout out anybody that's out here grinding, man. Love y'all. Keep doing y'all thing. Happy Father's Day to the fathers. Happy Juneteenth to everybody else.
Yes, sir.
It's a lot more great shit on the way from Salam the Poet, from my homie Jordan. Was saying shout out Black Man Bill. You feel me? Shout out Roots Collective once again. Pay homage to my homie Danny Agnew, man. You feel me?
Yep.
You will be missed. Your legacy lives on. And that's all I gotta say, man.
All right. Appreciate y'all for listening. Long live Danny.
Long live Danny, man.
Let's take this pic real quick. We lit.